Till you say don't you is true. Never, never met a don't you is true. Never, never met a don't you is true. Never, never met a don't you is true. Never, never met.
Next thing you know, I hear sirens and police are out there and cameras, news people, reporters.
Yarborough is arrested at the scene, but the FBI has no idea where Matthews has gone. And something he's left behind suggests authorities had better find him fast. A handwritten threat from Bob Matthews to the government. Surrender now or face daily firefights with the heavily armed warriors of the White American Revolutionary Army. 2 days later, Matthews is on a ferry to Whidbey Island just north of Seattle, where he writes a formal declaration of war, confirming his intent to do battle. He summons Bruce Pierce and others to his hideout.
The whole time the house was burning, he was still firing. He wouldn't give up.
The leader of the order never emerges from his safe house.
I will never submit nor surrender. Goodbye, kinsman.
Bob Matthews' war with the government has finally come to an end.
I feel quite certain that he succumbed to the heat, smoke.
One by one, the order members hear the news.
So strange that Gary Yarborough of the terrorist group The Order died in prison, which is where he needed to be. And I actually have a personal letter from Yarborough that he wrote to thank me for going to that stupid Whidbey Island thing. And you know, the funny thing is, I'm not even exactly certain that we found the right location, you know, where Bob Matthews blew up. I could also put together a whole podcast just on these stupid kinds of things like we would do with other Nazis that, I mean, we were aggressively recruiting for people to come do these things with us. For, hey, do you want to like take a 6 a.m. drive to some island where the FBI shot some guy because he was a fucking terrorist? And when we get there, we'll just think about like how great it is that we're white. That was basically the whole trip. But that was just of such major significance to the lowlifes of society that... Yes, I got a letter from him thanking me for that and saying that, like, oh, this really makes it all worth it, you know? Basically, like, it was for this, it was for our cause that I, robbed and murdered and died in prison. It was for this. So with this idiot skinhead, Jeff, his name is Jeff Thomas. Okay, he looks like typical skinhead, only he's also fat, old, and he's got freaking Nazi tattoos, like, on his neck, you know, on his knuckles. Very, very conspicuous man. I think he's also toothless. And he's heavily, heavily medicated on, I think it was methadone. So he's, like, got majorly slurred speech, you know. Typical. That's what it was like. We didn't know exactly where this house burning down for the white children, their future, you know, that's why they do all this. We didn't know where it happened. So we just kind of drove to Whidbey Island. And the skinhead dude gets the bright idea. He's going to pose as a reporter and just kind of wander around the general neighborhood, you know. And we were going through what was available online. So the idiot skinhead dude was like, yeah, I'll just pose. I can't imagine his drunk, slurred, racist voice. I'll just pose as a reporter, saying that I'm, like, covering the anniversary of the Whidbey Island standoff. And it's like, dude, okay, you've got SS bolts tattooed on your neck, which I could be wrong, but you'd think I would be the one to know, right? I believe they mean that you have stabbed a black man, and so he's very proud of that achievement. I've heard him mentioning it on the phone. Yes, I have the bolts on my neck. Like that'd be one of the first things. This dude would be like, yeah, I'm Jay. I have bolts on my neck. Actually, those were his exact words. That's how he said it. I have bolts on my neck. But anyway, this dude is thinking he's going to pose as a newspaper reporter. And of course, he's always wearing I think he wore Carhartt overalls and like a baseball cap with some sort of, maybe like the SS bolts again. And bolts on my hat. And my neck. Got bolts. Jig. This one time, he had a coffee mug and I glued a little picture of a dreidel to the bottom of it. So he'd be drinking it at the bus stop and everything. I think it was there for like 6 months. Does he think people are buying this? I mean, these people think that... So yeah, basically he wandered door to door telling people he was a reporter, asking, is this like the right neighborhood where... And we kind of ended up at this spot in the woods that might have been it. That's all I can say. Maybe it was it. Yeah, it looked like a house could have burned down there at some point. But it's also highly likely that, any remnants of that would have been removed because of people like us who wander around the neighborhood knocking on doors going, where did the Nazi thing happen? We're here to celebrate it because we're that way. We are among those people and we need your help so we can keep being that way. Yeah, they don't exactly want that happening at the sites of these things, so I hope it wasn't it. I hope it was a wasted trip. Nazis ruined everything. I could make an ABC book of all the things that Nazis have ruined. Gun shows. That's a place where Nazis recruit. Like what we would do sometimes is put on our white pride t-shirts and just kind of slowly wander around the gun show, and anybody who looked at us and didn't retch, we would hand them a flyer of like, here, join our group, you too can get a t-shirt. And I think maybe like 2 people accepted the thing from us, and most people, it had a swastika on it, and okay, you become really dumb when you join these things, because you kind of had to be to join the thing in the first place, and you don't realize that people frown on this stuff. Most people don't worship Hitler or even think he was good at all, Shockingly, most people don't want the flyer with the swastika on it. We could have gone for something like, so you like guns, huh? Well, you want to, hang out with a bunch of people who have guns? That would have been a much better approach, obviously. But no, it had to be, Hitler was great. Random man at gun show, come to my house for a barbecue. And no one wanted to. But the good thing, probably the best thing about that whole stupid recruiting approach was that, it got other people to leave us alone with their dumbass flyers for, timeshares. It would be like, I'll take your flyer if you take mine, and they would be like, okay, no, I'm gonna pass. It was, the best thing, again, about the whole thing was that it really didn't work, and no one joined. As stupid as all this was, I'm glad it was stupid. I'm glad it wasn't, highly effective at creating, stupid race war for shoelaces. Why am I laughing? It's not funny. There are, people are dying because of ideologies and people like this walking around gun shows. So that's why I don't even have a gun, but if I were to maybe try to get one, I can't because the Nazis ruined the gun shows.
Don't you